So at yesterday's press conference, Director of National Intelligence and former Republican Congressman John Ratcliffe claimed that the emails are part of an effort to hurt President Trump. We've been talking about that. But Democrats have certainly pushed back against that notion. So we want to bring in Paula Reid now. She's standing by for us at the White House. Paula, what are you hearing? What are we hearing from President Trump about the revelations from yesterday's press briefing? I know Vlad said you can't really call it a press conference because they didn't take any questions. Do we have any information on why the White House knew the press conference was going to happen? Because that was the other thing that was quite interesting about its timing yesterday.
Exactly. Very unusual, put together at the last minute. I used to cover the Justice Department. Incredibly unusual to have a press conference like this appearing to be put together very hastily, late in the day. And again, they didn't take questions. Extremely unusual. Last night at his rally, the president didn't mention it, didn't make a big deal out of it. He did mention China and Iran, but he did not mention Russia. But a few moments ago, the president's national security advisor, Robert O'Brien, he spoke with reporters here at the White House. I got a chance to ask him a few questions. I asked him if the president knew about this press conference, if he pressed the FBI. He sort of brushed that question away. But interestingly, I pressed him on another issue related to foreign interference. Of course, CBS News has reported that back in December, Ambassador O'Brien warned the president that the president's personal attorney, Rudy Giuliani, was the target of a foreign influence campaign. And we were told that the president sort of brushed this off, but that other advisors were concerned. This is one of the president's closer advisors. He has a large legal team, and Rudy Giuliani is not only a legal advisor, he's also pretty friendly with the president. He's here at the White House. Every once in a while, we see him visiting here. So I asked if O'Brien could confirm, was he aware of these concerns? And at first he brushed off the question. He said he didn't want to get in to that intelligence. But when I pressed him about how significant a question this is, we're not just asking about everyday Americans, we're asking about one of the president's top advisors. His answer was that a lot of people are the targets of foreign influence. And he gave examples, local mayors, local politicians. It was an interesting answer. He did not deny it, but suggested this was almost commonplace. In a way, it appeared to be trying to desensitize us to the whole notion of foreign influence, particularly that could get so close to the president.
Yeah, excellent points there, Paula. And to Anne-Marie's point about the timing of this, it just struck me as strange that all of a sudden we started seeing reporters like you and others who cover the White House and the Justice Department tweeting a press conference coming up last minute. And I noted that it was just coming off the back of President Obama making some news. And we know that this White House likes to distract from what is happening. So the other sort of distraction that we've been sort of hearing about, Paula, is the Washington Post reporting that the president has discussed firing FBI Director Christopher Wray. What do we know about that?
That's right. The White House officially is not engaging on this topic, suggesting that if the president is not happy with someone in his administration, that he would make that clear. Of course, we know the president has no problem insulting or dismissing people who work for him. But when it comes specifically to the FBI director, I've previously spoken with sources before this week who have suggested that, yes, the president is frustrated with his FBI director because he wants to be able to use the FBI and the Justice Department to go after his political adversaries. We've seen Attorney General William Barr has opened about half a dozen inquiries, reviews into matters that are politically of interest to President Trump, including whatever Rudy Giuliani brought back from Ukraine in his suitcase during his travels. The president appeared pleased with that, but none of these reviews have really yielded anything significant, certainly not criminal charges or the type of big October surprise that the president has hoped for. So the president is frustrated with his FBI director. You heard last night, too. Christopher Wray was not anywhere near on the same message as the Trump campaign when it came to the issue of election integrity. Director Wray, he said people should trust the system, know that their vote count. Of course, we know President Trump is the one out on the campaign trail and here at the White House repeatedly suggesting that the system is not fair and that you cannot trust it. So if President Trump is to be reelected, it would probably be wise for Director Wray to review his resume. It does not appear that his job would be completely safe if the president is reelected. Typically, FBI directors, they are appointed to a 10-year term, and typically they serve that out unless there is cause to fire them. We've seen he's obviously already fired one FBI director, and again, he just is not happy with the current director because he's not willing to do his political bidding.
So tonight, President Trump and Democratic nominee Joe Biden will be meeting for the second and final presidential debate. We know that Joe Biden is preparing because he hasn't been on the campaign trail. That's part of the reason why Barack Obama was out there yesterday. But what about the president? During the last, first and previous debate, the White House tried to or the campaign tried to sort of sell it like, well, he wasn't really preparing because actually being the president is preparation enough. Afterwards, we found out that he was preparing because a whole bunch of people who helped him prepare got COVID, much like the president. So what is happening this time around? Is he preparing?
Well, we're told the president is not doing too much formal preparation over the past few days. He's been on the campaign trail quite a bit. He's also been sitting down for quite a few media appearances and interviews, including, of course, the one with our 60 Minutes. We're told, though, that the president has been advised to switch up his strategy this time around. This time there will be perhaps more control over the microphones, fewer opportunities to interrupt. But his advisors are suggesting just let your rival talk. Let the former vice president speak. They believe that by letting him speak, he may trip himself up or come across, in their words, as not totally with it. They think that's really the best thing for the president to do, is create Joe Biden as sort of a foil instead of constantly attacking him and constantly interrupting him. And we all know, though, President Trump doesn't necessarily always follow instructions from his advisors, and we'll see what he does tonight. But I would be surprised if he changed up his strategy. He's just not a tiger who changes his stripes.
So we mentioned, Paula, that former President Barack Obama campaigned for Vice President Biden last night. It is sort of unprecedented to have a former United States president hitting the campaign trail with such a vociferous message for the person that they are supporting, but also in attacking the current president of the United States. President Obama did not hold back at all. So what topics did he discuss, and what is the message that the Biden camp is hoping President Obama will send with this appearance?
Well, it was interesting yesterday, the true rivalry on the campaign trail. It wasn't President Trump and his Democratic rival Joe Biden. It was former President Obama and the current president. Over the past 4 years, President Trump has repeatedly attacked his predecessor for everything from not having enough COVID supplies to problems with the utilities here at the White House and, of course, allegations about investigating his campaign. So on the campaign trail yesterday, we heard from the former president, and you're right, he did not pull any punches. He suggested that Donald Trump can't protect this country because he can't even, quote, take the basic steps to protect himself. He sort of made fun of Fox News. He made fun of President Trump's foreign ties. And he asked this group of supporters, he was addressing a crowd of about 200 people at a drive-in rally, to think about how their life was different between when he left office and now. Of course, many people in the midst of COVID really struggling for a variety of reasons. So he is definitely an aggressive campaigner, willing to take shots at his successor, even though, as you noted, traditionally, former presidents usually do not weigh in or do not comment or Monday morning quarterback the decisions or the conduct of those who succeed them in office. But here, this relationship between the current president and his successor is very different.
Yeah, certainly. Got to ask you about the stimulus bill negotiations. Americans are, wringing their hands, wondering whether or not there's going to be extra money in their bank account or not. So, what's the White House's latest position on this? Because, as you know, the president has gone from, we've got to be fiscally conservative to, hey, listen, I wanted to spend more money than Nancy Pelosi. So, where are they at now?
Look, Anne-Marie, I've covered this for 6 months, talking to a lot of different sources. The headline here, if you cut through all the political theater, is that you're very unlikely to get another stimulus check before the election. And depending on how the election turns out, it's unlikely that there's going to be a lot of people incentivized to come to a deal and send out another round of stimulus checks. While the White House keeps insisting another 48 hours, we're close to a deal. They've had months and months and months to come to a deal, and they haven't been able to do it while the conversations continue between the White House and House Speaker Nancy Pelosi. The Senate Majority Leader, Mitch McConnell, has said he doesn't want to hold a vote. He does not want to do a deal before the election. He does not want to highlight any issues within the party, because we know some of the real disagreements aren't necessarily Democrats and Republicans. It's within the Republican Party and those who don't necessarily want another large relief bill, those who are willing to do it, and then President Trump, who wants to go beyond what Democrats are offering. He does not, he says, want to engage in this before the election. At this point, it appears neither side wants to be the one to walk away from the table. They don't want that hanging over their candidates over the next 12 days, being blamed for the one who took away your opportunity for a stimulus check. But at this point, it appears they're still talking, but they have not made any materially significant advancements that would get anyone closer to extra money in their pockets.
All right, Paula Reid for us, reporting from the White House. Paula, as always, we thank you.